Hi guys, Mark here from Sea Wild Earth, and today I'm going to be showing you a couple of processes that I use, or a couple of techniques I use for using off-camera flash, notably when I want to use a super wide open aperture, when I'm using ND filters, and then the technique that I use called high-speed sync. Okay, so today I'm going to be joined by my lovely model Alyssa. We're here on a beach very close to my apartment at a place called Taguchi in Okinawa, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, now as a creative entity, I always like to make the most of the lenses that I invest in. Today I'm going to be shooting with a f2.8 24-70, a Sony, the L glass, and even though we've got these overcast conditions here, I still want to have the creative freedom to be able to shoot at a wide open aperture. It's made a bit easier with the environmental conditions we find ourselves in, but let's go ahead and see what we accomplish aesthetically with a shot at 2.8. Okay, and what I'm going to do is stay within what is the maximum synchronization speed for my flash, which would be 200 of a second. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so just a nice, easy, relaxed position on the rocks there, Alyssa. That's very nice. Looking off into the distance. Perfect. Ooh, okay, and just, ooh. Okay, so there we are. Boom, nice shot. Okay, and there we have it. So it's not a bad shot. It's not something that I would be ashamed of. It's a nice balanced shot. But what you do find is that the highlights of the skyline is just a little bit overblown. Okay, and what I want to try and do is to be able to get all of that detail into one shot without having anything too far blown out. Okay, and so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be employing the use of a studio strobe, a portable strobe, which is in this case the Westcott FJ400, which is right here to my left. And I'm going to be using the FJ X2M trigger, again from Westcott, to fire that strobe. Just a word here that none of the brands that I may mention during the course of the video are sponsors in any way, shape or form. All of this gear is equipment that I've bought, so I'm not entitled to say anything good, bad or indifferent about that equipment. Okay, I've got a 48-inch modifier on this strobe, so hopefully we should be good to go. Okay, so here we go. Let's fire this baby up. Okay, so we're ready to rock. I've got the strobe set up. I'm going to be using the lowest strobe power on the strobe at the moment, and we have Alyssa here on the rock. So I am going to be at f2.8, ISO 100 and 1/125. So let's see what that gives us. Keep on recording. Okay, stay like that. That's nice. Boom. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm going to put these photographs up on the screen, but that is overexposed because of the conditions that we're in, shooting wide open on the aperture, okay, and with a little bit of light. So if this was an aged old strobe, we don't have the luxury of using a feature called high-speed sync, and so the way that people would get around that is they would, rather than make any changes to the camera, is that they would employ the use of an ND filter. What is an ND filter? Basically, an ND filter is a darker element that goes across the front of the camera in order to reduce the amount of light going into the lens. And different ND filters have different densities, so they have different characteristics with regards to the amount of light that enters the lens. For this particular shoot, I'm going to be using an ND16, which is equal to a reduction of light that is equal to 4 apertures of light. Okay, so the only way then that I can balance correctly is through either ISO, shutter speed, or a mixture of the light, or a mixture of those 3 parameters. Okay, so let's go ahead and put an ND filter on and we'll see what that gives us. Okay, so this is an ND16 from the Canny optics company. I'm actually using a square filter, drop-in filter, because just now as I was setting up, my camera took a bit of a tumble and it almost had a ding on my other filter. So at least it was a filter and not the camera. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot with this. Again, my power is going to be at a minimum. It's going to be at 1% power, or setting 1 on the FJ400, and we'll go ahead and take a shot and then we'll see where we are with that. Okay, Alyssa, here we go. So nice, easy. Looking off, yeah, 3, 2, 1, very good. Okay, And as we can see now in that shot, you'll see that it is a little bit under, a little bit dark, but the sky, we've got beautiful detail in the sky. Now all I need to do is increase my strobe power in order to get to a point that isn't too overbearing on the whites. Okay, so all I'm going to do on my power, we're going to take that up and we're going to come up to about 2.5. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, oh, wonderful and good. Let's take another shot. Nice, cool, and one more like that. Okay, good. There we go, and we're certainly starting to get now into the area where I want to be. I'm happy with that shot, and when it comes into post, it should look quite nice. What I'll do actually is I'll do a comparison with from the camera and edited, but as long as we're shooting raw and we've got that ability to stretch and pull our images around about a stop either way, then we should be good to go. Now, again, as I mentioned, with being a creative entity, that is one way of shooting using your external strobe. If you don't have the ability to shoot what is called high-speed sync. And what is high-speed sync? We're going to get into that right now. When we're shooting, or when we want to be as creative as possible with our cameras, we have a weak link in the whole chain, and that weak link isn't necessarily the photographer, and it's certainly not the model. It's not the equipment as such, but it is actually something to do with the camera. It is the shutter of the camera, because every shutter, irrespective of brand, has what is called a maximum flash synchronization speed. On a Canon, that is 1/200. I think on a Nikon, it's something like 1/250. Okay, but I want to be able to have the creative freedom to shoot whatever parameter I want with my camera. And with the modern technology and a lot of strobes these days, they have a feature that allows you to shoot at what is called high-speed sync. And what is that? Well, high-speed sync is exactly what it is. It allows you to set whichever shutter speed you want on your camera in order to accomplish that creative shot that you're after. So here we are in an outside condition, even though it is a little bit murky overhead, but shooting absolutely wide open on my camera. I want to shoot and get as dramatic an image in the camera before I then take it into the editing process. So I'm going to be shooting high-speed sync. I have to make sure that that is set on the trigger and on the flash in order for me to be able to accomplish that. So I'm going to go ahead, set the camera up, take a shot, and I'll take you through the settings. Okay, so I'm ready to shoot. Alicia's doing her job perfectly on the rocks in front of me here. I've got my camera set up now to f2.8 on ISO 100, and I've got a shutter speed of 1/640. Okay, I've got high-speed sync has now been established in the trigger and on the strobe, and we are good to go. I'm just going to get a beautiful pose like that. That's awesome. Hold that like that, and 3, 2, 1. Very good. And keep looking around. That's nice. Yep. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, so let's just check that. Okay, that's looking okay. It may be a little bit underexposed, so all I need to do is just make a couple of changes. Rather than make any power changes on the strobe, I'm just going to come up a little bit to ISO 160 on my camera, and we should be good to go. Okay, and same again. That's beautiful. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very good. And ready. Yep. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm happy with those shots. I'm going to be putting those up on the screen so you can check for yourself. I'll now do straight out of the camera and one that's been edited. And so that is the process of using high-speed sync with wide open aperture. On a day like today when it's overcast, the impact isn't that fantastic, but on a day that's nice and sunny, so you've got that sunshine element in it as well, you really get that separation of your subject to the background and all of the light that's in that. I came out to shoot today. I planned to shoot today because I've got quite a busy schedule next week, so this is the only free time I've had, but it's been a fantastic shoot. Now, there is also one final point with regards to when you're going to use each of those two techniques. I would say that if you're in a situation that's super bright in the afternoon or whenever you're taking your shot, I would suggest using the technique with the ND filter, because that requires much less power draw from your strobe. Okay, and so even that also stands true if you're in on a location shoot. You've only got a limited amount of batteries for your strobe, so you want to conserve as much energy as possible. Use the ND filter mode. If you don't have that issue and you know that you're only going to accomplish a shoot within 2 or 3, like about an hour or so, then and you want to accomplish that that high-speed sync look without the ND filter, do that using more power draw on your strobe. And then that way, you can determine how you get the look that you want to get. So that's all for me for now, for today. Hopefully I'll have another video for you guys and girls soon. Please, as always, stay happy, healthy, sane if possible, and get out there and shoot as much as you can. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop a comment in any of the videos below, or even use the community tab, which I use quite a lot on my channel. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe, hit the notifications bell so that you'll be updated as and when new content is available from yours truly. But until that time, I'm going to wish you all the best, and I'm going to take some more shots of this lovely model, Alisa. Okay, take care guys, see you soon. Action!